Hey, honey,
Yes, Barry?
let's get out of here.
Where are we going?
Where do we always go?
Fascina el viento, este ritmo de palmas, sin ti naturaleza, hasta encontrar la playa. Por eso grito al mundo, yo soy de Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta.
Hello, fellow travelers. Welcome to this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. I'm your host, Barry Kessler, and I'm just so happy to be introducing you to my favorite vacation destination. Hey, maybe it's even yours, and that's Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. That music you were just listening to is performed by Alberto Perez, and Alberto is the owner of the Lapa Lapa group of restaurants. Those are the Lapa Lapa, Puerto Vallarta's oldest restaurant on the famous Los Muertos beach. And then there's the El Dorado Restaurant and Beach Club right next door. So you can enjoy that fantastic view of the Los Muertos Pier, all lit up at night in beautiful colors, or during the day in its grand splendor for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, seated with your toes in the sand right at the water's edge. It's so romantic. It's so Puerto Vallarta, my friends. It's been a little while since we got together, which I'll explain in a bit, so this is going to go a little long if you don't mind. But this week we are heading to Cabo Corrientes. We're going to El Tuito, where we'll be visiting with our good friends Matty and Jesse, who are having their grand opening this week of their newest venture. It's called Salud Restaurant and Bar. We're going to be hearing about that very soon. Then a visit with an old-time Puerto Vallarta personality and restaurant owner who gave up the hustle and bustle of Vallarta many years ago, 16 years ago, in fact, and he set up his own restaurant, which is named after him, Machi. Then we're going to head down the hill to the beaches of Mayto. We're going to visit with Fernando at Hotel El Rinconcito. Fernando has a very cool story and a very cool hotelito. We're going to meet Fernando and his family. We have Vallarta news and more. So let's see what's happening this week in Puerto Vallarta, the 16th of April, 2024. Well, the Guadalajara to Puerto Vallarta highway has finally opened up. How many years have we been talking about this, you guys? Well, it was completed for Semana Santa weekend, and the reviews are coming in hot and heavy. It is not cheap. It's almost 1,500 pesos each way. It comes to $187 U.S. in today's exchange to get to Guadalajara and from Guadalajara. And it happens a couple hours faster than normal. Now, for two to take the Vallarta Plus bus from Vallarta to Guadalajara round trip will cost you about the same amount of money. I mean, if you've got a car, you might as well drive a car. But if you don't have a car, you could take a bus. You could also fly from Puerto Vallarta to Guadalajara in about an hour for about $100 U.S. round trip via Viva Aerobus. So there's that as well. I was looking at some video of folks driving on that new highway, and it looks like a constant game of chicken. At least it did for them. It was very scary. I saw the video on my buddy Pat's Facebook page, Pat's Plates, and I'll embed it in the show notes for you to review. It looks kind of frightening. And by the way, Pat's Facebook page, it's called Pat's Plates Expat Help for Vehicle Registration. It is a great resource for those of you who use a car in the Bay. He posts important travel warnings for the local area, including heads up for gasoline station scams, which are popping up every once in a while. Good tips on repair stations, and he's got a great page. Anyway, like his page if you haven't already, to get his updates. It's very interesting, even if you don't have a car. It's very interesting to see what Pat has got posted. He does a lot of really cool videos. Very good information. I saw that Vallarta Food Bank has changed their name to Vallarta Cares. And since I care about what happens at the food bank, and I'm sure you do too, I will be talking with Jimmy Pluff at Vallarta Cares, formerly Vallarta Food Bank, when we return to Puerto Vallarta at the end of this month. Just actually a little less than a few weeks from today. Very exciting. And just for your information, Alaska Airlines out of Los Angeles is still the cheapest at $235 nonstop round trip. No frills. We sit on the wing and we keep our fingers crossed that, a door or a window doesn't pop out in mid-flight, Boeing jet, just kidding. Just kidding. We're going to be in Puerto Vallarta for just 10 days. We're going to record interviews and discover new places to take you to. It has been an active high season for thieves and pickpockets in Paradise. There was actually an incident that went viral a couple of weeks ago. Actually, it was about a month and a half ago. It was when we were in Vallarta last time, beginning of February. It was the night of Tom Finley's birthday party, in fact, and there was a security camera video that was taken from Bar Frida. There was a customer who was outside the restaurant. He was at this, there's a street side railing there with a little table, looks like a board, and he's sitting on a stool, and he's viewing his cell phone, which is out in front of him, and a motorcyclist comes up and snatches the phone right out of his hands and rides off. Very scary thing. And what was even more scary was his phone was open and it was on when the thief grabbed it. So if the thief was smart enough to keep that thing open, he didn't have to break it open to find out what was going on the person's phone. Now, there have been other instances of thieves on motorcycles snatching purses and bags off of arms and shoulders of people as they walk down the street. So, and also off of tabletops when you're like dining in, on the sidewalk. So be very, very careful. Also, the mustard and ketchup squirting trick, where the team of well-trained thieves squirt that mustard or that ketchup on you when you aren't paying attention, and then they'll insist on helping you clean up while picking your pockets or your purse or your backpack. So they're out there too. How do you protect yourselves from these bad guys and gals? Well, in the case of the mustard and ketchup gang, you really need to make sure that these guys know that you know what they're up to. So if they start saying, "Hey, let me clean you up," you need to stop and you need to tell everybody to get away from you. And you need to be really loud about it. So you want to say, "No me toca, vete," which means don't touch me, get out of here. And say it real loud and make sure that others around you hear you too. And tell them you're going to call the police. Say it in English. Say all that in English. Just make sure that you say it loudly. Get the attention of people that are around you. They don't want to be around you if you are making a fuss. As for the purse snatching thing, while you're walking down the street, I carry my day pack. I carry a backpack, little day pack on my shoulder all the time because I've got my recording equipment there. So I always carry it square on my back, or I put it on the shoulder, the inside shoulder, the one that's toward the shops and away from the street. And that way that'll keep that thief from just plucking it right off my shoulder as he drives, or he or she drives by. I mean, we want to be equal opportunity people here. You want to also avoid leaving your phone lying on a table while you eat. We've talked about that before. And as far as the phone being snatched from your hands from a passing cyclist or whatever, I would suggest something that I ordered, and I purchased it for my phone after I left it by mistake in an Uber. Remember that? Anyway, I bought this item. It allows you to attach a long strap to your cell phone, and you can attach the strap to your belt loop. So you can't leave the phone anywhere by accident. It's attached to you. Same if someone tries to snatch it out of your hands. They're going to be totally surprised that it's still attached to you as well. There are other scams, of course, happening around town. You need to be smart. You need to be aware of your surroundings in Paradise. But hey, these are the most common issues regarding safety and your important belongings. Now, when we last talked, and sorry, it's been a little while, I was referring to an email from a listener who was a bit dismayed about the cost of eating and drinking in Puerto Vallarta as of late. And he asked me for suggestions of, what I do to make my eating and drinking experiences more enjoyable. So first, we need to take a look at why we're feeling the pinch in Mexico. The very first thing that you're going to notice before you even spend $1 or a peso in paradise is that you get less pesos for your US dollar and your Canadian dollarette than you did in the past. Now here I have an ATM receipt from April of 2021, and the exchange rate was 19.87 pesos to the dollar. So almost 20. Now compare that to last July, where I got 16 pesos to the dollar. Now, yesterday, I sent some money to my friend Salvador, the candy man on the Malecon. Salvador has a case of bronchitis, and he needed some pesos for a handheld nebulizer. So I sent him a MoneyGram, and the MoneyGram was 16.4 pesos to the dollar. So right off the bat, at least in dollars, US dollars, I'm sure it's not that different in Canadian money, you're talking about almost 23% cut in the exchange rate from where it used to be. And so where you used to be able to do the math in your head, where 100 pesos equaled $5 US, today that 100 pesos equals just 80 pesos. And that 500 peso bill that used to represent about 25 US is now 400 pesos for the 25. So, and by the way, do me a favor. Don't make me tell you why the dollars and dollarettes are dropping in value, okay? It has to do, I'll tell you a little, maybe it has to do with printing presses. Okay. Now, you also have worldwide inflation, and that's caused by, well, please don't make me tell you why we have worldwide inflation either. Just go figure it out yourself. So where I live here in Southern California, food, fuel, services, I'm seeing about 30, maybe 33% higher costs overall. So in Mexico, I don't know what they're seeing, but it's got to be at least 20%, as far as a hike in goods and services as well. Although I just found out, I just read an article that said Vallarta has the most expensive gas in all of Mexico. And Vallarta is a tourist zone, so in the touristy areas, you're going to see even higher prices, right? So that's what's happening in Puerto Vallarta, and that's why you're feeling the pinch. Now, also remember that to go out and eat right now in your hometown is no bargain. A Big Mac meal in Los Angeles is $12 US, or 198 pesos. An average price for a margarita in the Los Angeles area is also between $12 and $15 US, or about 198 to 247 pesos. Now, if you're in Vallarta, you should not be paying more than 125 pesos for a good margarita, by the way. So, okay, let's get back to what we do when we come to Puerto Vallarta to save money and still enjoy a good time, right? So here's some of our tips. First, never order anything unless you know the price of it. You treat the waiter like your taxi driver. You would never, ever get into a cab. I mean, I've told you this, so I hope you would never get into a cab without asking the price first, right? So ask the waiter the price if it isn't written on the menu. Or if he's got some special and he tells you all about it, ask him how much. And then, of course, you might ask them why they don't have the price of the item written on the menu. I don't mean the special, but, like a margarita. I've gone into a restaurant. They have got margarita on the menu, but no price. So don't assume. Ask them if it's not written on the menu, okay? Now, remember that the cheapest meal of the day in Mexico is breakfast. You can still find breakfast for 100 pesos at a sit-down restaurant in Puerto Vallarta. So eat a late breakfast and then defer your lunch by maybe eating a quick taco, or fortify yourself for, a couple tacos until maybe you get to an early happy hour. And then you find a happy hour with discount food. That doesn't hurt. Another idea is to split your entree with your dining partner and order an appetizer also and split that and then see how you do. We do this a whole bunch. More times than not, the portions are going to be just fine, and you won't need to eat anymore. You won't need to pack stuff and put it in your refrigerator back at the hotel or at the resort. So extra bonus there. I also have a link to the happy hour board. It's in the show notes where you're going to find, 2-for-1 specials. You're going to find half-price specials, dozens of new ideas of places all around town for you to find a shiny new happy hour, one every day for every day of the week, or two if you're so inclined. And you can find them on Facebook. You just go to www.happyhourboard.com/Puerto-Vallarta. I've got that link in the show notes. If you're smart, you should have that on your phone, and that way, I mean, they do the whole countdown. They tell you what happy hours are running, how much time is left, and they tell you what happy hours are coming back. So really good to have that happy hour board, and I have it all over the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show website, as a matter of fact. We had an incident in Vallarta that made Mexican national news last week, and I got a couple of emails and messages about this subject. It seems that for some time, a neighbor, an elderly American couple, it has been reported, has been having a battle with a beloved restaurant in Vallarta. The restaurant is Gabby's. Gabriela was one of my first interviews back in May of 2017, and I love that restaurant. I love the family, too. So this dispute has been going on purportedly for a few years now. The restaurant and the neighbor have been battling back and forth regarding noise and music. The elderly American couple doesn't like the noise from our friends at Gabby's restaurant on Calle Hidalgo in Mina, right down the street from Iglesia de Nuestra Señora de Guadalupe. So this couple went out and they got a court order and they sued to stop the music. So the restaurant is going to need to let go of their musical entertainment, and jobs will be lost, according to the folks over at Gabby's. And that's not really cool, right? Now, there was even a big protest last week in front of Gabby's with expats and Mexicans. They're all supporters of the restaurant, and they all came out to sign a petition in support of the restaurant. Many locals, as well as resident expats, consider this as gentrification and disrespect for a Mexican family by a foreign couple. The restaurant employees and the Castañon family came out. They served treats while the news stations reported, and there were bloggers and vloggers, and even a group of mariachis came to liven things up and create some noise. But in the end, at least for now, this is what the current mayor has to say. This is from Puerto Vallarta Reporter. Vallarta residents demonstrated to demand respect for operation of a popular Mexican restaurant in the central area of Vallarta. Although dozens of Vallarta residents went to the Gabby restaurant to show their solidarity last Saturday after it was sued by foreigners for playing Mexican music too loudly, interim Mayor Francisco Jose Martinez Gil said the commercial establishment must respect the anti-noise law. He said there is an anti-noise law, and everyone has to follow it. If we do the right thing, we will never have problems. Martinez Gil commented that he would continue with the meetings with neighbors and businessmen in the downtown area, in which he would inform them about the anti-noise law. He continued, "Sometimes we can see that we complain and do things without having knowledge of the law, and that does not exempt you from any responsibility. We will be more attentive, and I will check the actions with the legal team. I respect the ideas of all people. There is free expression here, but everything must be done under legal criteria. If the law allows it, it's fine. If not, there will be legal repercussions." Chef Julio Castañon, owner of Gabby's restaurant, located on Hidalgo Street, intersection with Mina, 2 blocks from the municipal presidency, was sued before the Administrative Justice Court of Jalisco by his adjoining neighbors, a retired foreign couple who have lived in their house for some years. Through social networks, the chef announced that since they bought the property, complaints began, which has included annoyance due to the laughter of his clients, the supplier's vehicles, and the musicians who come to play and ask for tips. That, according to the foreigners, affects their quality of life. The displays of solidarity to the commercial establishment that have been in existence for more than 35 years were immediate. Last Saturday, dozens of musicians and Vallarta residents came to play and dance and demonstrate against the demand that is considered unreasonable, since Mexican music is important part of the essence of our country. But the mayor reminded them about the anti-noise law, and I have a link to that article from Vallarta Reporter Online in the show notes, and I plan to actually drop in and interview Chef Julio Cesar Castañon when I get back to town in a week and a half, and then we'll see what their next step is and what we can do to help them out. I want to thank Trish from North Carolina and Kimberly from Trinidad and Tobago for reaching out to me and for your concern, and for the concern that I think many of us have, and that is that many expats who've come to Mexico, Vallarta to live, they want it to be like where they came from, and they want to change things. And to those people, there are a lot of us who want to say, if you don't like it, go back to where you came from. It sounds harsh, but that's the honest truth. The fact is that we should come to Mexico to live because we love Mexico, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I say, live it, don't change it. I also have a link to the podcast and the blog post from May of 2017 in the show notes, way back when I interviewed Gabby, and we can relive that one 7 years ago. Wow. Guy Weeks from the Isla Cuale Restoration Project asked me to pass this along to you all. Our friends Kika and Ernesto are finishing a cool project, and if you've been to the Circle Bar, which is now, by the way, it's now serving food, so you can have beer and a Bloody Mary with your hotcakes. It's really great. But if you've been to the Circle Bar, you've noticed that there are murals, there's paintings in the tunnel under that Insurgentes Bridge. So here's Guy's Facebook post from Amigos de la Isla Cuale. It says, a year ago, Ernesto Garagos and Kika Gomez led a group of artists to paint a beautiful mural on the interior walls of the Insurgentes Tunnel. And now it's time to finish the project with a historical review of the Insurgentes Bridge on the interior and a new mural on the outside eastern wall. I'm raising donations for the Insurgentes Tunnel mural and history project. Can you help? So he's got his, he sent me a PayPal link here. I've got it in the show notes. You can also go to the Facebook post. These are, once again, Amigos de la Isla Cuale page. And let's see here. I have that link to the Facebook post as well as the plans for the completion of the project. It's very cool, and it's a very touching idea, as a matter of fact. So check out the link in the show notes or go to the Isla Cuale Facebook page and see it for yourself. Use the PayPal link that I've got in the show notes to donate. And thanks, Guy. Thanks to you and your whole team on the Isla. It is so beautiful there. If you've not been there, get back. Last time I was on the island, I noticed that the Le Bistro restaurant, the old Le Bistro restaurant, has been closed for some time. It's being restored, and it's slated to be opening later this year by Grupo La Palapa, which I find very interesting. Le Bistro was one of the best restaurants in town back in the 80s when we first started coming to Puerto Vallarta. They served the most delicious food. They had live jazz on the river. It was just a beautiful property back in the day, and I expect the folks over at Grupo La Palapa will be doing a great job bringing the Le Bistro property back to its old glory. I will be talking with the folks over at Lapa Lapa about this the next time I'm down, so stay tuned for that. I even have an old picture of Debbie and me, in front of Le Bistro back in 1984. I'll put that in the show notes as well. I have to apologize for not putting out an episode for a while. I had my very first surgery in 64 years on this planet, and I needed to take some time off to recover and to get some business done, so I took an unannounced but well-deserved break, and I am ready. I'm ready to get going and back with a more regular podcasting schedule. So the reason for the surgery was back in November, just before Thanksgiving. I was doing a do-gooder thing, and I paid, unfortunately, the price for it. No good deed goes unpunished, as well as they say. And well, every year our real estate brokerage puts on a big event where we work with our local food share and food banks, and we feed thousands of local families who are in need. And what we do is we dole out turkey dinners that are paid for by donations from agents like us, from sponsors. We door knock for it. What we do is we give out frozen turkey, like a 15-pound or bigger turkey, sack of potatoes, green beans, mushroom soup, box of stuffing, biscuits and cranberries, and we put them in bags and we give them out to people in need. And the people in need come in their cars and pick up their items. A big truck comes into the brokerage parking lot, and we unpack the truck, and then we run these meals to the cars as they come pulling up. Well, I picked something up. It was a little too heavy, and I hurt myself, and I didn't discover it until, well, later on that night. I felt something weird, and I had suffered a double hernia. And the doctor said that I noticed I also had a belly button hernia. So he says, hey, let's get to work on you. So anyway, 4 weeks ago, they repaired my inguinal hernia. And the doctor did what's called a robotic-assisted laparoscopic surgery. This is where the surgeon, he sits at a screen and he uses a joystick while this huge machine, this big, huge machine, just wreaks havoc inside your body. I mean, no. They say that it is less invasive, but boy, recovering from that was something else. Anyway, the surgery was a success. It's been 4 weeks of recovery, and the doctor says that I can lift things now again. I can go back to working out and exercising and everything back to normal. But that first week was really harsh. It was hard. First they put this breathing tube down your throat during the operation, and that irritated my throat pretty bad. So I had a hard time speaking without sounding like a teenager for about a week. And then on top of that, the pain was pretty intense. I mean, they cut these 3 holes under my rib cage for the robot, and then one at my belly button, for that little repair. And they send a little camera in one of those holes, and they got 2 robot arms going in the other 2. And then they laid down mesh and patched and sewed it all up. And anyway, it sounds weird, but it's all good now. They even asked me if I would consent to, having them film the procedure for teaching purposes. You know me, I'm always here to help. I love medicine. Anyway, I figured they'd have to do a perfect job if they're going to film it, so I said, sure, go ahead, do it. Anyway, all better, and I'm ready for that trip to Puerto Vallarta in less than 2 weeks. Okay, I got a lot to talk about, but let's get to our adventure and our interviews, shall we? My first trip to El Tuito and to Mayto was back in 2018. That's when we all went together. And at that time, I visited with our friends Matty and Jesse James at their very first bed and breakfast. It was called the La Jolla del Tuito, as I recall, as you might recall. At that time, I visited with our friends Matty and Jesse James at their very first bed and breakfast. It was called La Jolla del Tuito. And then Matty and Jesse ran another smaller bed and breakfast in town. And after that, they opened their pizza and sandwich and pasta place called Provecho, penne, pastas, pizza, and more, which you have to visit when you do land yourselves in El Tuito. They really do a good job there. Anyway, Matty and Jesse have a new concept that they are just opening up as we speak. They just opened up. It's called Salud Restaurant and Bar in El Tuito, and it's a very cool spot. So let's visit with Matty and Jesse, and let's see what they have in store for us. We'll head right now to Calle Pablo Rios 79 in El Tuito, and let's hear from our friends, Matty and Jesse, at Salud Restaurant and Bar in El Tuito. We got Matty and Jesse. Thanks for coming on the show again.
Thank you.
Thanks for seeing us again.
We are in an incredible spot. Tell everybody about it. Matty, you start.
We're in the center of Tuito. It's called Salud Restaurant and Bar. It's a great, large outdoor space. We've got a large bar area. We're going to have a full restaurant menu as well as later hours for bar through the day. Total different concept compared to our other restaurant that you interviewed us on last time, which is Provecho. It's a beautiful place, beautiful lighting at night. Daytime's great. Yeah.
It's a great party venue. I'm going to have pictures in the show notes so you can see it. But just for me to describe it, it's a beautiful courtyard. It's just right off one of the main roads here in Tuito, but you wouldn't know it. And it is got little sunshades. It's got a spiral staircase that goes up to the roof and gives you the most beautiful view of the town.
Town.
It's just really sweet, and it's right next to the stadium. So if you know where that is in El Tuito, you know that it's a little bit out of the center of town. So you guys can have some parties, right?
Of course.
Absolutely. So far, as we've been getting it together, we've had some rentals. We rented out for special events, weddings, parties, birthday parties, quinceañeras, things like that. And so far, that's been wonderful while we get set up. We're looking at the beginning of March for being fully open for the restaurant and bar. And, of course, we'll still have the availability to rent it out for bigger events after we get established. But we're looking forward to the opening of just the daily grind of restaurant bar life. I say that now, but we'll see what happens in 3 weeks.
What happens. Well, it's like I said, it's just beautiful. You'll have to see it in the show notes. And it's a great place, I think, if you are planning to have a wedding in Puerto Vallarta to come. Are there places? Are there enough accommodations in Tuito for people to come and stay and enjoy a wedding?
There is now. There's a few different hotels. Some of the older hotels that are here in town have remodeled recently.
Great improvements
inside and out. And that's been a nice bonus here for El Tuito. Once we got out of the bed and breakfast business, a few more of those have popped up ever since then. So we do have a handful of those here. And I'd say 4 decent hotels, good recommendable hotels that could accommodate large groups.
Okay, so that's just in case you can't get back to Vallarta, but there are other ways to get to Vallarta and back. Of course, there's the Uber and there's the taxi.
Absolutely.
And I understand that the bus is now leaving Tuito later. Is that
9 p.m. We have a 9 p.m. bus that returns to Vallarta.
Oh, wow. Okay, because it used to be just 7. I think 7 or 7:30 was the latest bus.
We used to crash early, and that was it. But with more and more people working back and forth and more people coming to visit Tuito as a destination later at night, not just during the day, because a lot more happens during the mornings and the evenings here. So, we have the later bus that leaves here at 9, and if you're headed from Vallarta to here late at night, we have the 10:30 that'll bring you here as well.
Oh, okay.
And we have plenty of taxis to get you back and forth.
Right. Can you give somebody like an idea of what maybe a taxi would cost to get you back to maybe Old Town?
Ballpark from Tuito to
Zona Romantica.
You're looking about 500 pesos.
500 pesos.
Yeah.
If it's depending the amount of people.
Depending the amount of people, and if it's super late, they might ask for a little bit more, but it's really reasonable. It's not bad at all.
Very, very easy. Very easy to handle, you guys. It's a long ride, too. So, don't go, oh, my God, that's a lot of money. It's not.
It's not.
It is a long ride.
It's a long ride. But
yeah. All right, so So let's come back to Salud Restaurant and Bar in just a minute, because I want to remind people about Provecho. You know, when I get off the bus, I know one of the things I look forward to is having the sandwich and a pizza, you know, and a beer and having a good time, and so and being with friends. So tell us about Provecho.
You know, I believe the last time we talked to you with Provecho, we had just added pastas. We've got the pizza, panini, salads,
right.
pastas.
Yeah.
Those have all been going good. We've got the pastas just on Friday, Saturday, and Sundays, and then our regular menu the rest of the week. We are closed Tuesdays and Wednesdays. That's our days that we relax. So supposedly relax. We just aren't there.
Yeah, right. Don't be disappointed. You know, don't worry. You can come to Tuito those days, but you know, don't be disappointed.
Don't be
We've
disappointed.
also
Take it out on them.
We've also gone from 10 or 12 pizzas to 26 now. So we have a lot of different options for vegetarians, people who don't want beef. We've got chicken options, like a bunch of different things. So it's pretty nice to come and get a different pizza.
Yeah, you know, I have to say there's a lot of nice places to eat in El Tuito, but if you want to have some good down-to-earth food, go to Provecho. You got to go there.
And I do want to mention that at Provecho, because a lot more people are requesting the gluten-free. We do offer gluten-free meals with more than just a salad, obviously, but we have gluten-free pastas that we offer for them, and we can also do like veggie noodles for them. We just do spiralized zucchinis and carrots and beets. So there are options for them to eat that aren't just here's a salad or something. So
yeah,
we have a little bit of everything for everybody.
Are there any new things in Tuito that you want to maybe tell people about? Because Tuito, every day there's something new,
There's
right?
Something new all the time. We've been so busy getting the second place open now. We've not paid attention to a lot of things, but you know it's growing around here. We're definitely we went from having one OXXO and a gas station to now we have two OXXOs and a kiosco, and they're building like housing development looking things around here. So it's changed a lot in our 8 years here for sure.
And little subdivisions that are coming right off of the streets of the town with, you know, nice new sidewalks and street lighting, and it's just
pavement.
To me and pavement, and to me it's like, wow, it's
definitely different.
This is different.
It is
the
different.
places on the backside of the plaza are going to be amazing. Those views, the sunsets, things like that, they're great areas back there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, let's come back here. You're going to be opening up then. You're going to have your soft opening in March. Mm-hmm. And I guess what we'll have to do is just come back. We'll have talk to you when you get things rolling here.
Absolutely. And we have lots of big things planned. I mean, the space is great for more than just food and drink. I mean, we'd check back with us for sure because we definitely have some big things planned for the space.
Okay. All right. Well, I have to say, once again, check out the show notes. This is an amazing spot. Is there anything else I forgot?
I think that pretty much covers it for now, but do check in with us again because we've got some big plans and we're excited
You'll
to
tell
share
me a
with
little
the
about
people.
your menu and all that other stuff. And
divulge
things.
the menu and some of the different big plans we have for the bar side and things like that. So.
Yeah, I mean, this place has 4 bathrooms, by the way.
With toilet seats.
Yeah, so, you have an event here. You can be sure that there are 4 clean bathrooms, and all the bathrooms have toilet seats, too. So you don't find that anywhere in Puerto Vallarta,
at least for the soft open.
At least for now, unless you guys are looking for some. Matty, Jesse, I want to thank you so much for coming back on the show. You guys are this is the 4th time you guys.
Yeah, this is
you guys are almost record breakers. But now we're going to get you back for 5 because we're going to find out more about this place. If you guys are looking for a place to get a party going, out of town, something a little bit different.
Cooler temperature,
cooler, and a cooler spot, and just another place to introduce your friends to, like another cool little Mexican town.
Exactly.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, Barry. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matty. Thank you, Jesse. I have links and I have pictures to their new beautiful place, Salud Restaurant and Bar. They've got 4 restrooms, and they all have toilet seats. What do you know about that? We can talk about that. We should talk about that one of these days. Is toilet seats in Mexican in Mexican restaurants or anywhere in Puerto Vallarta. It's kind of crazy how you can't find them, even in some of the nicer ones. Anyway, let's get back. I want to take you and meet one of the old-time Vallarta restaurateurs. His name is Machi. And Machi had a restaurant in the Zona Romantica. It was on the corner of Madero and Aguacate. And by the way, I have a picture of that. JR sent me a picture of Machi's barbecue in the day. And he also sent me another picture of it, of what it looks like today. So you got the before and after. The building looks exactly the same. Anyway, it was on the second floor of this building on Madero and Aguacate. And then one day, Machi got tired of the Vallarta high rents. I mean, this was years ago. 16 years ago. So he packed up his grill and he moved up to El Tuito to open his restaurant. And his restaurant is called, you guessed it, Machi's Barbecue Restaurant and Grill. Now, according to legend, Machi is like other famous people where he only has one name. And that means that he joins the likes of stars like Cher and Madonna and Bono and Drake and Prince and Sting. And then, of course, there's Machi. So let's go right now to a tiny restaurant with big character, good ribs, and cool, eclectic decor. You're going to love this place. Let's go across from the plaza in El Tuito to Calle 1 de Abril, and let's visit with the man, the legend, with one name, Machi, at Machi's Barbecue Restaurant in El Tuito, Mexico. Machi, thanks for coming on the show.
You're welcome to El Tuito, especially in my place, the restaurant bar, Machi's Barbecue.
Machi, tell me a little bit about you. Where are you from, and what was your path to Puerto Vallarta and then finally here to El Tuito?
Well, it's a long history, but I try to make the short history.
Okay.
So I came to Vallarta since 1977. I lived there almost for 30 years.
Where were you from?
And then I come from Cuernavaca City. It's 1 hour to the Mexico City.
Yeah.
It's too near to the Mexico City.
It's a beautiful place.
Beautiful place.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of history since the pre-Hispanic times. Many places for the tourists. Excellent restaurants. Well, it's an amazing place.
It's beautiful, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and then you left there how many years ago to come to Puerto Vallarta?
I live in Puerto Vallarta for 30 years ago. For 30 years.
So 30 years later.
Yeah, and then I moved here, and I've been here for almost 16 years.
16 years.
Yeah,
okay,
16
so
years.
when you were in Vallarta.
The last November, I stayed here in the bar, in my bar, 16 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
16 years is a long time to be in Tuito, and Tuito has changed a lot in 16 years.
It's a lot, you're right.
It's grown.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
When you were in Vallarta, you had a bar and a restaurant too, yes?
Yep, I have a couple of restaurants. Machi's Barbecue, the principal place, and I opened another place. The name was Zapata Saloon.
Uh-huh.
I have every night live music there since midnight to 3, 4 in the morning.
Wow.
And I have a coffee shop too.
Interesting.
But I work too hard and I can do that anymore.
You were done. You said, I got to go. I got to get out of Vallarta, and I've got to come to El Tuito.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Vallarta in the day back then was a whole lot different too. Not as many restaurants, but a lot more nightclubs. Right? It was very busy at night.
Well, let me tell you something. When I come to Vallarta in 1977, by the Malecon is only, listen me, Oceano,
yeah,
Casablanca, La Cebolla Roja, Red Onions,
yeah,
El Patio, when it's La Dulce Vita now, El Patio,
really? Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And
well, there was
maybe 5
Carlos O'Brien, right?
Carlos O'Brien, of course, were maybe the 5 or 6 restaurants.
Yeah, it was a tiny
and
town.
only 2 discotheques, City Down and Capricho, that's it.
That's right. I remember both of those.
Yep.
And then afterwards, they'd all go over to El Cabana de Pancho Villa, and they'd go and
it's amazing
drink
play
and-
because we are too younger in this time. Every night, we go to the disco. Capricho City Down. Between 5 or 6 in the morning, a lot of hungry, we got to go a la cabaña de Pancho Villa.
Yeah, man, amazing.
I-
Full of
I-
smoke.
Yeah.
The best food, the best.
Yeah, I know.
The best food.
I know what talking about because every night, every morning I was there for
Yeah.
something to eat. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, that's where all the chefs went. They all went there. All right, so let's talk about your transition. You made a transition and you came to El Tuito. Why did you do that?
Well, because I start seeing in Vallarta many restaurants, and then year by year is less people, not too much business, a lot of changes in the buildings, everything is
Yeah.
well. I love Puerto Vallarta, so but we don't make too much money because the rent, the
Yeah.
places for the rent, for the restaurants, for the houses is too high.
Yeah.
We can pay too much because less people, less customer. We don't have to pay for the building of the restaurant, building my house, etc., etc. And somebody tell me, matches in El Tuito. I never visit before El Tuito.
No, you've never been.
No, never been here. So some people, well, check, maybe you open because no bars like here or something like that.
Mhm.
And I check this corner and I say, well, that place is we're in the main street, nice location. And start, well, I be there, maybe I'm going to be there for maybe 2 or 3 years. But I
Yeah.
guess
And look at you. Look what happened.
and I feel happy here. The people is friendly people here. I don't have too much trouble with the people, nice place. We are close to the Vallarta 1 hour. We are close to the best beach in Jalisco. Is Mayto, Tegua, Las Ánimas, Quimisto, Yelapa. We are too near to
You're
these
right there.
places. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. So you're like a jumping off spot for all of those
Right,
great places.
right. Yeah.
Plus, you are right on the town square, which
Yeah.
is amazing. Your place here, it's small, but it has got a lot of character. And you play some really great music here, too, by the way. Is that your music? Did you bring that here?
Well, always this is my own concept about the song business, So, for example, here when I come, all the local people say, hey, matches, you can make business here because the people, they don't like to music. They say, well, let me think about it, but I don't care. Because, the local people like the banda music,
Yeah.
blah, blah. Oh, of course. I don't never like the banda music, but I love my music, like a mariachi, the singers or whatever,
Right.
So, but the banda, I don't like the banda music. But the concept of the music, I try to find my customers, because not too many people like this music. Say, no, I don't want this place. It's better for me because it's kind of the nice people here, like you, like
You're kind of
the local people.
Yeah.
I'm not racist, I know nothing, but I got to try. My own concept always is this. I try to make the difference between another restaurant and the atmosphere, the nice music, and then this is
It's the result.
see,
Yeah.
this is the result, right?
And of course, you walk through your restaurant. It's very eclectic. You've got all kinds of things on the walls. It's very, very, very unique. It's a nice place to walk into. Tell us about your menu. Tell people what's on your menu.
Well, the principal is the barbecue ribs. And then I have my own recipes for make the sauce for the pastas, for the fish, for the steaks. Always, the kitchen for me is like my own laboratory.
Yeah. Huh?
Because always I try to some sauce or whatever. And then this is the big difference. I think everybody has their own recipe about the food,
Yeah.
But every day I come try my sauce. Maybe I change something flavors, and this is the history.
Yeah. So it's
the
all
recipe
about keeping it good and keeping it tasty and
And the people like my food.
yeah.
I never was chef, never. But I like cook for myself for a long time ago. And then when I think about it, when I have my own restaurant, I cook for my customers. Since when I was in Vallarta and the Machi's barbecue, and I feel the the same concept, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you do a great job here, and you've
Thank
got
you.
people who have been here say only nice things about it, which I appreciate. Tell us a little bit about, if we leave Machi's for just a second, we go off into El Tuito. What are some of the things that people should see while they're here in town?
Well, it's a good question. You know, since maybe 6 or 8 years ago, start come people from Canada, from United States, of course, and from the Mexico too, move here for live full time here.
Uh-huh.
And I talking with the people, well, what is the concept about my business? They told me, well, we like the place, we like the food, and for us it's beautiful place because it's the only place in El Tuito like your place.
It is totally like that. You're absolutely right.
The people is happy. We are friendly with it's not only with the Canadian or people from America. We are friendly with everybody here.
Yeah.
They're not local people, and then this is the difference too.
Yeah.
We are friendly with the people.
You got a good,
and the people have respect for us too.
Yeah, you've got a great clientele, and like a very varied, exactly like you say.
Yep.
Very mixed clientele. When people come here, they're going off to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
How do they get down in there?
When the people that forgot to the beach, we recommend some places, and then the people say, well, 1 hour, yes, 1 hour. I go yesterday at Tegua. A part of the highway is not good because they fixed but the people is happy with the places here because they say this beautiful beach here. Yeah.
Yes, there
It's
are.
not too many people. It's a nice beach. I think for me, this is the best beach in all the Jalisco state.
They're beautiful.
Because we're talking about since Las Ánimas, Quimisto, Majahuitas, Yelapa, and this size, Tegua. I remember, I'm not sure, you remember Miss Maloya many years ago before made the restaurant there, the
Yes.
hotel there?
Yeah, I remember. I've got pictures from there.
Tegua is like Miss Maloya 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Beautiful. It's a big place to live. They made money talk always.
Yes, it does. Well, yeah, and listen, they've got some great restaurants in Tehuamixtle, and it's a swimmable area. You can actually get out in there and not have to worry about getting the waves bothering you, which is very, very nice.
It's a small bay. We have a really fresh oyster. I was there yesterday.
That's big, huh?
Yeah, the shrimp, fish. Well, it's a fisher's town,
Yeah.
fishing town.
Yeah.
It's a nice place to go.
It is a nice place. There's places to stay there, too, right? You can stay
See?
overnight down in Tehuamixtle.
They have now nice hotels, not too expensive. It's good stuff for the people.
Yeah.
Now, I think this is, Vallarta, I love Vallarta. But now the people, they prefer come looking for something.
They want to
like
get
here,
out a
like
little bit.
Yeah.
They want old Vallarta.
Yeah.
I think that's what happens a lot of times. They go, okay, well, things are kind of getting a little crowded. I remember when it was like this. And so there are places. If you can go a little bit north or a little bit south, there is still old Puerto Vallarta to be found.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I remember when I came to the first time to Vallarta, of course, it's part of the time there's many changes,
Yeah.
But I think Vallarta, the people wasn't the government. They don't make good job because a lot of fact changes.
Yeah.
No make sense, and no
A lot of things
idea
don't make
what's
sense.
happening with it.
Well, not a lot of organization, right? What
Right.
happens is
Right.
people get big ideas and people don't get in their way.
See?
Yeah. All right, so let's come back over to Machi's. Do you have a Facebook page or do you have anything like that? Any kind of advertising to bring people here?
Not yet.
No?
So I have some friends. He live in Vallarta. He has here, and he start made some advertising for come to not only for my place.
Yeah.
because I want all the people have a semi good business too.
Yeah.
I have frames from the Mayto, Tegua, the old town here. I have maybe 40 or 50 frames, the small ones, with different pictures. And we put in different bars or restaurants in Vallarta, because I have with the name of the picture. For example, Mayto, the picture of the Mayto is Mayto, Tegua, Corrales, Yelapa, Majaguitas, the church. I have a
So
bunch of
you're doing your best to get
and
people over.
I try to looking for some friends. I have many friends that have a restaurant or bar. I ask the people, can you put my friend here?
Why not?
It's okay for the people, no? Yeah.
Well, sure, and you're not in direct competition with them. I mean,
No,
you're
exactly.
way up the
We are
hill,
no competition, right? Yeah.
Oh, it makes sense. It's great to have friends like that.
Yeah, right.
Well, if you ever need help building a Facebook page, I'll make one for you, okay?
Okay, perfecto. Yeah, I agree.
All right, it's my pleasure.
I
You know that I could do that for you.
Yeah.
So, all right, so I will have the links to get you over here. I'm going to have a Google map that will get you to the right in front of Machi's restaurant here and barbecue. You can find it, of course, at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. And, of course, I'll give you all the directions and how to get here. I've got a couple places that you can stay in town. And, when you are in El Tuito, you got to stop at this restaurant and bar. What are your hours? Because they've changed a little bit, huh?
Well, yeah. Now we are open since noon to... I'm not sure in the night, because some people come after midnight, 2 or 3, especially in the Saturday or Friday. We stay here 4, 5, or 6 in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice that you're actually open during the day, because I used to come and visit you, and it was not until 5 o'clock when you'd open up, and now I can come on over here. And
we are open now since noon, 11 or noon, because we service it's part of the lunch. We have Mexican dishes. Of course, we have the menu of the night. Some people ask for one steaks or pasta or whatever. We service,
Yeah.
But the most people ask for the enchiladas, chile rellenos.
Oh, so you've got a Mexican menu during the day?
I do. Yeah, I have a Mexican menu.
Uh-huh.
If you want person advertising or something, you have to make something there in the corner right there. Some people come and they don't know, because no really advertising.
Right.
Hey, where is Tegua? Where is Mayto? Straight.
Go down that road, and you're there. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna make sure we get you a nice little Facebook page and get you going there. But in the meantime, I just want to thank you so much for taking your time and for letting me introduce you and Machi's Restaurant and Bar in El Tuito to my listeners. I truly appreciate it.
Always welcome, my friend. So I hope to see more times here, and you please say John Rosso hello from Machi's Barbecue. I don't see him for long time. He was a really nice man.
Yeah, so JR is a good man.
Yeah,
He is a good man. He's all of our friends. He is part of our podcast. I want to thank you so much, Machi.
No, it's my pleasure, my friend, always. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Machi. I have all the contact information and pics in the show notes for Machi's Barbecue in El Tuito, as well as a Google map that'll take you to his front door. Find them in the show notes at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. Now, next, we head down to the beach, just an hour out of El Tuito, to Playa Mayto and to the Hotel El Rinconcito. Now, before we head down to Mayto, I think that it would be a good idea to review how you get from Puerto Vallarta to Mayto. There are several ways to get down to Mayto, but the way that I always use is a bus from Vallarta to El Tuito, and then I take a taxi from El Tuito to Mayto. So let's review. You can catch that bus to El Tuito, which is the same bus that you take to the Botanical Garden, same one. Now, the bus stop has changed from across the street from Marisco Cisneros. It used to be there. You need to go down the street a little bit further on Aguacate just before you get to Basilio Badillo. I'll have that. I'll have a map there in the show notes if you need it. That bus comes every half hour, so look for a line. There'll be a line of people, or the bus will be there. And the cost is approximately 80 pesos to El Tuito. I think it's about 50 or 60 that'll take you to the Botanical Garden, but 80 will get you all the way up to El Tuito. The ride is about an hour long, and you should stay on the bus all the way to the center of town. The bus is going to make several stops as it heads through town, but the final stop over at the plaza is where you want to get off. Then you want to look around for a taxi. It's going to drive you to the beach, down to Mayto. The trip should cost you about 600 pesos, that taxi ride, each way. So once you found your driver and you agree on a price, and as I said, 600 should suffice, you should also make a plan with the driver to come back and pick you up when you're going to be ready. So you need to know what time and what date you want this driver to come back and pick you up. And then make sure that he's going to be available to pick you up when you need him. And once that's settled, then off you go down the sometimes windy road. Beautiful, beautiful ride down to the beach. The ride should take about 60 minutes, and the road has much improved since we first started taking it back in 2018. There were potholes, there used to be rivulets cut by rain, and today the road is very nicely taken care of and managed all the way down to the beach. Keep in mind, a minivan-style taxi is going to be able to carry a maximum of 4 passengers, including luggage. So, and if you have a larger party or if you are plus-sized people, you may need 2 taxis. So double pleasure and double the price, I'm afraid. But we went down to Mayto with our Canadian friends, Debbie and Ray, who live in Pitial. We love Debbie and Ray, and since they are so generous, they invite us to stay with them every time we come to Paradise. So we thought we'd treat them to a couple of days over at the Hotel El Rinconcito with us, and the 4 of us fit nicely into that cab. So the trip, including waiting for the bus and the cab, should take you no more than 2.5 hours from that bus stop at the Romantic Zone in Vallarta to your final destination, the Hotel El Rinconcito on the beach in Mayto. It's not bad. And the price isn't bad either. You get 600 pesos plus another 80 pesos per person to take that bus. Not bad. Now, during our interview, Fernando's going to tell us other ways that we can get down to Mayto. But for me, this is the method that I've used with great success since my very first trip in 2018. Now, if any of you have been listening for that long, you will remember my first trip to El Tuito and Mayto. Back then, I left Matty and Jesse's place after I did an interview with them over at the La Jolla del Tuito. They called me a cab, and the driver was Javier Arias. And Javier spoke excellent English, and he drove me over to Galleria Capella, where Maria Santander was so nice to give me an interview and talk about her place. And I asked him as he dropped me off if he would come back in about an hour and drive me down to Mayto, which he did. And if you remember that episode from 2018, I found that Javier was from Mayto and that he grew up there and his family still lived there. So hearing that he grew up in Mayto, I asked him if maybe he could introduce me to someone interesting there. I told him about what I do. I told him that I interview people for my podcast. And, well, yeah, he knew exactly who he was going to take me to see. And so as we drove along, Javier would be telling me stories about growing up in Mayto. And every time he'd start up, I'd tell him, wait, tell me the story on the drive back to El Tuito. I'll get out my recorder and I'll record your story. Now, the reason I told him that is because I know that when you get talking with a guest before an interview, it's really possible that they will never repeat that story again because they think they've already told you. And so you have to tell them, no, you need to hold on until I get a microphone in front of you. And so anyway, I always tell them that. So Javier and I got to the beach. He drives up to the Hotel El Rinconcito, and he walks me right up to the bar where Fernando Hererra was. He was sitting there, and he introduced me to Fernando, at which time I proceeded to give Fernando my pitch. I told him about my podcast and that I was hoping to hear about his hotelito. And if you remember the story, Fernando very gently let me know that, he didn't really want to come on the podcast. It was nothing personal, but he was just happy with the way things were. Kind of thanks, but no thanks. So, as you know, I'm not the pushy type, and I thanked him very much. I liked him very much, and you know what? I understood where he was coming from. So Javier and I, we went back to the cab, and we got back in the car, and I could tell that he was a little bit hot under the collar. And, I asked him, what's wrong, bud? And Javier said, I didn't like the way Fernando treated you. So I looked at Javier, and I said, you know what? I sell real estate, Javier. I get rejected multiple times a day in my business. So it's okay. Fernando has every right to say no to me. And he has his reasons. But Javier, you know what? I have you. I have you and your story. So Javier drove me over to Tehuamixle for a great seafood lunch over at Candy's. And then on the ride back to El Tuito, he gave me the most incredible interview about Mayto, about the history, what it was like growing up there, the difficulties of living off the land. It was an incredible interview, and I linked it up in the show notes. You can listen to it again if you haven't heard it before, or if you want to listen to it again. And then the following year, I returned to stay over at the Hotel El Rinconcito because I really liked the bohemian feel to the place, that beautiful, beautiful beach. It was a very, very cool spot. And to be perfectly honest, I really liked Fernando. And as I said before, I totally understood where he was coming from. The hotel was lovely. The food out of the kitchen was very, very delicious. And the beds, very important to me, the beds were comfortable at his hotelito. So I really enjoyed my stay when I came back to stay over at the El Rinconcito. Now, unfortunately, COVID destroyed Javier's business. He turned to the bottle. He lost his family. He no longer drives a cab. He still lives in Mayto, not with his wife and kids, but with his dad and brothers. Man, I really liked Javier. But since I lost Javier, I've found several taxistas in El Tuito. I've got their contact information, got them in the show notes with all of their WhatsApp information as well. So you can get a hold of them, or you can just go ahead when you land in El Tuito, go ahead and flag down a cab and see if he'll take you down there. Once again, 600 pesos will get you down. So, as I said, we went down to the Hotel El Rinconcito, as a special treat for Ray and Debbie, who had never been to Mayto, by the way. So it was just extra special for them, and it was extra special for us because we could show them around. Now, I wasn't planning on interviewing Fernando because, well, as I said, I respected his decision and his desires, but we got to talking about my first visit, and he said to me, Barry, I've had good friends tell me that I need to be more open, more open to social media and to bloggers. And you know what? I'll talk with you. I really would like to talk with you. Now, of course, I was sky high, so very happy to hear that. And of course, I'm always prepared with my microphone. So the morning before we left the little paradise on the beach in Mayto, I sat down at last, after 6 years, to get that interview with Fernando. So let's go right now to the beach, 2 hours south of Puerto Vallarta, and let's meet Fernando Hererra, owner of the Hotel El Rinconcito in Mayto, Cabo Corrientes, Mexico. Fernando, Thanks for coming on the show.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from, and what was your path that led you here to Mayto?
It's a long one, but I could say the most important. Since 5 years old, I've been in the area, and thanks to my dad. He lived his dream and left it to me. Wow. And I wish I could say it all, but thanks to him, his trajectory from far away up in the mountains, Los Altos de Jalisco, he found the path, actually walking to here. 8-10 hours in the dark, and found the promised land for his family. And here we are following his dreams, trying to get them done and leave the pattern for the followings, the grandkids, the kids. Initially, it wasn't the idea to create a hotel. It was just a dream, like a lot of people have to live on the beach. And like the same way I have a dream, everybody else does. So I met people that wanted to follow me. And after him, more followers. And this community of one family became what it is right now. Not just a hotel, it's the place. Yeah. It's your home away from home, and that is surrounded by a very good energies, good vibes, and once you discover it, you want to come back, just like the first people.
Right. Yeah.
And I was mentioning them about the rooster fish. Is what opened actually our doors to customers. Our first customers were fishermen, and thanks to Todd Fuller from Minnesota. I hope he hears this. Todd, how are you? He helped us so much that thanks to him, we started renting rooms. Actually, he lended us some money to build the first rooms.
Wow.
So he will be always here.
Indeed. Indeed. Yeah. All right, Todd.
Todd Fuller.
We'll make sure you're listening to this. This is a very eclectic place. You've got you've collected things. You've got driftwood that's cut into chairs and just tables, and it's amazing. Obviously, these all came from right out here on the beach, I imagine now.
Yes. And to me, they mean gold. It's like some things for people means garbage. Some things for ourselves mean gold. So how many people came and said, Fernando, get rid of your shit. It's time to change. I said, my shit is my gold. So you don't feel here, amigo. So, it's the way you are, is the way people is looking for different things, and it's good to be different.
Yeah.
Because create a place that is the same is just boring. It's just so boring that people, another the same, another place the same. So we wanted to keep this place since the beginning, make it fit into nature. So that's why even though we're 100, 200 meters away from the big resorts or other places, here feels like you are in a different place.
Absolutely.
Different Rinconcito. That's why we call it Rinconcito. I don't know you know what it means, but it's like hidden fun place. It's the end of the road where it's different. Just once you pass that road, it feels different. So we try to keep it like this as long as I live. I don't know what's coming next, but we're going to try to keep it different. I mean, it's simple, but not all simple things are garbage. Simple means good. Simple means less worries. Simple means you feel good. And that's why we're here. We are just feeling good, and that covers a lot. Feel good about it.
Absolutely. All right. Now, we're going to get back to the fish in just a minute, and fishing, because it seems to be a lot of people that are down here are here to fish. But I would say probably at least as many are here just to relax and do nothing and take in the beauty of this place. But before we do that, before we get back to the fishing, let's talk a little bit about the hotel itself. How many rooms do you have? I know it's grown.
Yes, we have a total of 30 plus 32, 33 rooms that we are going to have available. At the moment, are 31. We're working on 2 more units, like with kitchen and long term. They will be available probably next couple of months. And it's just like a dream, you know. It's like, wow, it's been 17, 18 years since we started it from ground zero to what it is right now. And sometimes time goes so fast that I don't even believe it myself.
Yeah.
It's like when you wake up and say, what? Another room, another extra thing. And that one, it comes to your mind. Well, you do things every day, the same thing, and then in the year, pile up. Yeah. So one thing that we have here, we always do something every day. So at the end of the day, you have more and more, and that's how this place has been since the beginning. We're not stopping until I don't think we'll never stop. I think it won't grow anymore, but at least remodel, repairs, that's what we do every day.
Right, yeah. Something everybody has to do
this
here, right?
hurricane hit us so bad that it's an invitation for those people that haven't seen us for a while. No, we need to make up. We need the support to get this place running again. It was a good hit economically, but we're working on it.
Yeah, well, it looks great, and from what I can see right now, I see no signs of hurricane damage. You've done really well here. So, yeah, keep on coming down. What do people expect as far as food goes? I mean, you've got a kitchen here. Things have changed over the years. You used to just do breakfast and a little dinner, but now you actually have a kitchen that's running pretty much all the time, huh?
Yeah, one of the persons that never stops, always trying to looking for options. We gave the restaurant not long ago to another family, and that was a test for me that I wasn't supposed to give it to anybody else, to keep it in the family. Now my kids open their eyes and say, yes, it's time to stick in, it's time to go in. So now we have a good team of workers, and that includes my son that is in the bar and my daughter in the kitchen. That's, for me, is a good relief because me and my wife were kind of giving up on these big trips to Vallarta and spending the whole day buying groceries. So now they have the responsibility of going shopping.
Right,
and they know what it means. They know how much money they spend. And they know how hard they have to work to get this place going. I mean, restaurants especially takes a lot of your time. And people might see, oh, my God, they're selling the tons. They're selling, but they don't know what's involved. I mean,
sure.
It's a lot of work. So those trips to Vallarta take your energy. You come back with empty pockets,
Yeah.
and that long drive. So, but even though it's so hard to do it, when you want to do it, you will do it. First thing, you gotta like what you do, or don't get into it because you'll be miserable. You will suffer if you do something that you don't like. So that's the key.
That is the key, and that's a blessing that you actually have your kids that actually want to work and want to work with mom and dad.
Yeah.
I'm from the same kind of family. I worked with my parents for many years, so I understand that there are lots of, there's a whole new ball game when you're working with your mom and dad.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are, it's like on the test right now, and if it doesn't work, we'll just keep going. Yeah. Not everybody works with the wife, works with the kids, so we're giving a test, and we're probably going to make it because it seems like they like it.
I know you're going to make it, Fernando. You're a good boss. You're a good guy. The food coming out of the kitchen's amazing. Thank you very much for that.
Thanks to Mickey and the crew.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Let's get. How do people actually make a reservation down here? You're online, right? You're on Facebook. You're on Instagram. All that stuff.
Believe it or not, at the beginning, like I told you, I didn't want any of this, but it's the world.
Yeah.
Some guy told me, Fernando, without internet, you're not gonna grow. And that was a guy that stayed with us for long term, built a nice house. John Van Dyke, Chechalaca down the coast. And thanks to, repeated suggestions, now we have the magic internet.
Yeah.
And that's how we do our business, actually. We don't do many advertising, like websites and stuff. But word of mouth, thanks to you, people are knowing about us. And word of mouth, TripAdvisor, and Face never stops. Facebook, even though sometimes says, oh, another one of those. But that's how people know you. You want it or not, you cannot stop.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
If people are going to come here and they're on this beautiful beach, I mean, how long is this beach? It's a pretty good walk to get from your spot to the end of that beach.
It's a good spot. 12 kilometers, I would say, in the low tides. Yes, looks beautiful. Nice to walk. Nice to take an ATV ride. Fishing is great right here. And fishing. And it's natural right now. And we hope it just stays like that forever.
Yeah, so let's talk about fishing. People come here and fish. Are they people do they have guides, or do you have, or is it just something that do you supply rods? I mean, what happens? What happens here with fishing?
At the beginning, it was exclusively through guides. Like I was saying about Todd Fuller. He didn't want to bring anybody else if they didn't come with him. So he put a lot of information on internet, but he never mentioned the place because he wanted to keep it for himself. And nowadays, people they can come and fish by themselves without a guide. So it's no rules. It's free to come. And what kind of fish? It's the rooster fish that we had it in schools of hundreds when we first moved here.
Wow.
And now it's up and down. It comes and goes. So because it's been overfished, probably it got scared. And but in the season, which is November through December, is the good fishing season for the rooster. You like fishing?
Yeah, good. It's good eating. This rooster fish is good.
It's good eating. The idea with the rooster fish is to not kill it. It's kind of some people, fishermen say, Fernando, how much do you pay for this fish? If you want to buy it and eat it. I said, 100 pesos. You know how much money I spent to try to catch it and release it? In the 2000s, in the 3000s.
Yeah.
So I give you $1,000 and let that fish go, please. I said, really? Yeah. So, because when they come, release it, and people from around here say, you crazy? Why you let it go? It's good to eat. Well, not for me. I want to take the photo, let it go, come back and catch it again. That's catch and release.
Yeah. Very cool. So that's what's happening here on this beach?
Yes. Of course, not all of them survive once you release them. And when you catch a lot, and when you want to eat one or a couple, then you keep a couple and you let the rest go. But the idea is to let them go, especially roosters, rooster fish, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what other fish are they catching here on the bay?
Right now, for example, it's not the season for roosters. You catch jacks, you catch bonita in tons. You know, the bonita fish, and Sierra Spanish mackerel. And those you catch them from boats. You rent a boat in a village next door, Teguamixtle, and then you troll and catch lots of bonita.
Okay,
lots of vida.
so you're out almost in front of the bay, because here it's very rocky. You know, you don't see boats coming into this bay.
Yeah. See, we're not a bay that you can anchor your boat. It's kind of rough. That's why the neighbors Tehuamixle, they have that service, and the harbor is great for that.
Okay, so if you wanted to go to Tehuamixle from here, what are your options?
You could walk 30 minutes. You can drive. I mean, you have your own car, you make it in 10.
Right.
Or just call the fisherman. He comes over here and you make an arrangements with them.
Very
Yeah.
good.
It's not far.
No, it's not.
5 kilometers.
And they
or
want
so.
you to come anyway, right? They want you to come over to their little town and check it out.
Yeah, that's one of the things that you must visit when you come around Tehuamixle. That's the oldest town around. So we're talking about over 100 years down. So you got to visit.
Yeah.
You don't like to stay, but at least see it.
Exactly right. All right, so let's come back. Let's come back to Hotel El Rinconcito. We already know how to get here. We already know, about your place, about the number of rooms. What else can you add? Is there anything else that I've forgotten, maybe?
Well, you could also get a pickup service from us. If you don't want to drive or rent a car, or you can call us up, and most of it by WhatsApp. That's what we use. Besides, staying, the good drinks are available. Some hiking, fishing, ATV rides, things like that. Because people ask, what do I do there? Well, it's a place where you want to relax. But besides relaxing, you can do activities. I mean, we got yoga retreats. We're going to fix a roof for retreats, yoga, religious, relaxing, coffee. On the top of this building is going to be a nice, like a spa, relaxing area for those people that want to just read, listen to low music, or do yoga, things like that.
Very good, very good. Well, when you get that all set up, give me a holler. I'll make sure that, and send me a picture. I'll make sure I'll let everybody know that you got that going and rolling here. Okay. All right. Well, there's a lot of things that you can do here besides relax, sit around, smoke weed and have a good time. Drink a lot of tequilas. Have lots of lots of beers. I mean, it's all good. They've got coffee in the morning for you. It's the most incredible view to wake up to.
Yeah.
This gorgeous, gorgeous place. Yeah. So let's talk about the menu, because I mean, it changes a little bit, but it's always delicious. What kind of things you got here?
Yeah. Besides the bar, we increase our services in the kitchen. We just we're used to serve breakfast and dinner, but now we have a everyday and all day menu, from breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Besides typical authentic Mexican plates, the traditional, we also add some seafood almost every day, and those are the ceviche, acapulqueño, aguachiles, rojos, blancos, red, and whatever colors they are, but they're good. And besides that, we offer like a fish tacos. I mean, tacos capeados, and our type of fish that we use is a good kind. It's the mahi-mahi.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have a mahi-mahi ceviche. You can have a camaron or shrimps.
Acapulco.
Acapulqueño ceviche, or just a filet, garlic and butter, and a la diabla. You like spicy stuff, but we also make them non-spicy, just red, but not spicy. And besides the typical Mexican plates, coffee is great. You have to have your coffee every morning. And besides the coffee, we have Café y Más that includes fresh juices, espresso cafe that you need a high quality coffee to make you feel high. Besides the other stuff, But yeah, all that stuff is available.
I even saw some green drinks coming through here too, right? The green juice, right?
The green juices are great.
Yeah.
Orange juice, fresh. The green juice, the red juice, mango, and sometimes horchata, sometimes jamaica, those aguas frescas that we put them out. If you like some flavor on your water.
Yeah, all right. So you don't have to go anywhere, right? You can stay here.
No,
eat
if we don't
all
have
day.
it,
Drink
we
all
bring
day.
it. You just call for it on time. I recommend Mayto drink. We created a drink that is called Mayto because that's the name of our town. And for those people that don't know what Mayto means, the original name it was an agriculture meaning from my dad. M-A for maize, the Y for E, T-O for tortilla. That's the original meaning of Mayto because Mayto was created as a agriculture farming town. Now we're on the beach. It's more modern, and we got the Mayto drink that we try to follow the letters of M-A for maracuya, Y for yerba buena, which is mint plant, and T-O for tequila, but instead of tequila, we put a raicilla. So
yes.
it's a good time for people that don't know what raicilla is. It's a tropical moonshine created in the area not far from the coast because it's got to be close to the coast between warm and cold. That way the plants of agave raicilla grows nice. And it's become very popular.
Oh, it sure has. Yeah, it's gone from from jug to, with a real live seal on it, and the whole 9 yards.
The mezcalitos are also good. Mezcal is like raicilla, but in cold areas, Oaxaca, Chiapas, from high mountain plant. But we also offer them, like a margarita, mezcalito, great. The chili jalapeno margaritas are good. Pepino. Ana here is in charge of making them good. Arana? Okay.
Fantastic. And you are absolutely right. She makes them good.
All right.
Everybody
so
loves them.
Good credit to us for Ana.
Yeah. I can vouch for Anna. All right. Well, is there anything else that you wanted to add? We're pretty much.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you. I mean, opportunities come, and you want to get in when they come because they come and go. So this is a good opportunity for me to sit down and let people know about this place and that we're here for you guys. Come around to check it out. I mean, it's not easy, but there is always a way. And once you come here, people come, say, where is the beach? Are you sure Mayto Beach is there? Yeah, just relax. And but our rule number one is people might come upset because whatever reason it is. But our idea is to make them happy. That way they go back happy. So we make them happy, no matter how upset or stressed they come here. And so far we got more happy people living than when they come upset for any reason.
That's right.
Because we make them change. Or the place actually makes them change.
It is. It's a transforming place. And your lovely place, El Rinconcito, from your daddy, right? From your daddy. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks for allowing me to. By the way, I'm going to have all the pictures in the show notes, of course. You can find it at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. I'm going to have all the links. Of course, make sure if you forget how to get here, go to my show notes. You can find every way to get to this lovely place. Get to Mayto.
I want to add something else. We just put out a kind of song that I made for Hotel El Rinconcito on Facebook. We're gonna put subtitles in English because it was sung in Spanish. So that way can people understand what's the story of this Rinconcito.
All right. Well, very
so
good.
look it up in Facebook.
Well, look it up on Facebook.
Rinconcito.
I will, you know what, I'll actually embed that in the show notes. You can go to the show notes and find it here in this episode of El Rinconcito. Well, I got to tell you, Fernando, thank you so much once again for letting me introduce you and El Rinconcito to my listeners. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fernando. Thank you so much. You're so kind to share your story and to speak with me. And a couple of things I want to let you guys know, I'll give you a little heads up about the Hotel Rinconcito. They do not take credit cards there, so bring pesos with you. You won't find ATMs in Mayto as far as I know, so let me tell you what, bring enough money with you. Bring pesos. In fact, I actually stocked up on pesos in El Tuito before I got in the taxi. And in El Tuito, there are 2 ATMs in the plaza, right where the government buildings are. Make sure you bring enough money to cover your meals and your bar and your tips, and pay for your rooms online. You can do that. Anyway, I have all the links to get you to the Hotel El Rinconcito in the show notes. I got a map that'll get you there. Contact them, make reservations at this beautiful, sweet little bohemian place on the beach. I also have pics of the hotel, of the kitchen where the food is so delicious. Get it all day long. It's made with love right there on the spot. I have pics of the lovely property and of Fernando and his son Yoel and his daughter Yana and lovely wife Mari Alvarez. And they're in the show notes. You can find it at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. Of course, we were picked up by our taxi driver right on time, and he whisked us away back up the mountain to El Tuito, where he actually dropped us, took us over to a nice little place where we bought some raicilla. That was pretty cool. And then we took an hour-long bus ride from the plaza to Vallarta. Now, remember that according to Matty and Jesse, the last bus out of El Tuito is now 9 p.m., so don't miss it, or you might need to find another way home. Now, remember, I have contacts for taxi drivers that'll take you down to Mayto in the show notes, and stay tuned for more interviews from Mayto coming to you in the near future. I got a couple of very interesting folks that you're really going to enjoy, so stay tuned, and in the meantime, make your plans to visit the Hotel El Rinconcito in Mayto for your little getaway from paradise to paradisier. Is that... I made up that word, okay? Paradisier. All right, well, that should do it for this week. Next week, stay tuned for more on-the-ground reports from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, with travel tips, great restaurant excursion ideas, and more. Until then, remember that this is an interactive show where I depend on your questions and your suggestions about all things Puerto Vallarta. If you think of something that I should be talking about, well, please reach out to me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending us your message. And remember, if you're considering booking any type of tour while you're in Puerto Vallarta, you must go to vallartainfo.com, that's JR's website, and reserve your tour through him, right from his website. Remember, this is a value-for-value proposition. His experience and on-the-ground knowledge of everything Puerto Vallarta in exchange for your making a purchase of a tour that you would do anyway. You're just doing it through him as a way of saying thank you. Thanks, JR, for being our guide. It costs no more than if you were going to use someone else, so do it, really. And when you do take one of these tours, email me about your experiences. Maybe you can come on board and share with others what you liked or didn't like about the tour. Again, contact me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending off a message. Don't forget his maps, his DIY tours, and I have a link to all of those in the show notes. Once again, if you like this podcast, please take the time and subscribe and follow and share with a lover of Puerto Vallarta. Or give me a good review wherever or however you happen to be listening. That way we can get the word out to more and more people about the magic of this place, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Remember, I made it easy for you to do just that with each episode I create. But if you haven't been to my website, you really need to have a look there. I have the links to the places that we talk about, interesting pictures, and more right there. My blog posts in the show notes for each episode of the show, so check them out for sure if you haven't already. All right? All right. Thank you to Matty and Jesse James from Provecho Penny Pastas y Mas in El Tuito and their newest venture, Cool Spot in Tuito, Salud Restaurant and Bar. Plan your next event in El Tuito. Great place for a party. And thank you so much to Machi, the famous Machi from Machi's Barbecue, right off the plaza in El Tuito. Check out his ribs and slaw. Check out his cool, eclectic decor and selection of music. Drink too. I have links to both Machi and Salud in the show notes as well as maps to take you there. And hey, thank you so much to the wonderful people at Hotel El Rinconcito, Matty, Yoel, Yana, and of course, Fernando Hererra. Thanks for sharing your story and the Hotel El Rinconcito with us, my friend. Thank you so much. You have the friendliest hotel on the beach, and the food, the best. It's so good. Remember, bring cash, bring pesos, please. Hey, and thanks to all of you for listening all the way through this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. Barry Kessler signing off with a wish for you all to slow down, be kind, and live the Vallarta lifestyle. Nos vemos, amigos.
De Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar, samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de amor junto al mar. Solo camino interno por la playa, me encuentro junto al río cuando todo está en calma. Pronto cae la noche, brillas Puerto Vallarta, samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. De Puerto Vallarta.